Cheers. You're not
We're
gonna...
back.
We're back.
We're back,
this is episode 40, by the way.
Episode 40. What are you going to do at episode 100? Ooh. Wait, can we try this at the same time?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, ready? 3,
I think you're going to like it.
2, 1.
Good flavor.
That's a good flavor.
I don't know that we want to be drinking them this time of night, but, you know, really good
flavor. If you see me running around your neighborhood after this podcast episode, it was because of this.
It definitely was.
All right, real talk. Whether I'm gearing up for a tough workout or preparing for an episode of The Cameron Brown Show, I need to be locked in. And that's where A-Bomb Energy comes in play. This stuff isn't just another energy drink. It was actually created by an Army Special Ops combat medic who wanted something better. Something that actually helps you think clearer, focus longer, and retain information, not just give you a quick caffeine spike. And I can tell you, it really works. I've been drinking A-Bomb before I hit the gym, and it's like flipping a switch. My focus is on point, my energy is steady, and I don't get that crash afterward. Same when I'm recording this podcast. I need to be sharp, engaged, and A-Bomb helps me stay in the zone. Plus, it actually tastes great. So if you're looking for something that gives you a real mental and physical edge, go check them out at abombenergy.com. And when you order, just type Cameron in the notes so they know that I sent you. Trust me, you're going to feel the difference.
Are you sure that wasn't like just your pure energy yourself?
That's definitely some help.
Definitely going to support
I already did a
that.
workout today, but with that, I could probably do another one.
Well, first and foremost, thank you for hopping back on for episode 40 of
That's so
the
awesome.
Cameron Brown Show.
Was I episode 1?
You were episode number 1.
I was episode 1. Now I'm back for 40.
You were episode number 1.
That's pretty epic.
And I was just going to go ahead and quickly tell the story, but the reason that I actually executed on this is because of conversations we had like the week before. And I basically just said, you know what, screw it. I'm going to go buy a couple things and make it happen. It was the worst audio, the worst produced podcast maybe of all time. But
guys, he literally had a tripod up with just his phone, and he was like, I honestly don't even know if the phone's recording, but we're just gonna do the whole episode. I was like, should we check? We didn't even check, but it worked out.
But it worked, and here we are once again 9 months later.
That's so
too.
Awesome.
We're also going to be able to see ourselves kind of age as this podcast progresses.
Hopefully we're aging
well.
in a good way.
I believe we're aging well, but it's just like, we're like, this is crazy. It's been almost a year.
It's like camera quality. They can see our wrinkles.
Yeah. Hopefully we don't get old that quick.
I know.
God, that would be wild. I also want to give a quick shout out, Mason, for helping to set up the audio
the best.
and video here too. This has been probably one of the better. This is going to be one of the better produced podcasts because of the support that we've gotten here today. I've put some money and time into some other equipment.
You have. This is awesome.
Definitely.
Last time I was just plugged into your computer, and you just had your phone. Now he has like multiple cameras, mics. This is awesome.
Full send.
40 episodes later, we have like a full podcast studio. That's pretty epic.
And we're still getting better.
Yeah.
So we're learning every single time.
I love that. I think we were on a run, and he was just like, I'm going to start a podcast. And I was like, yeah, you're going to start a podcast. He was like, what should I name it? And we were like, Cameron Brown Show. And here we are at the Cameron Brown Show.
I think I also threw out a couple other names, and you were like, no, those are shit.
Yeah. There was some silly wonky stuff.
This is the
I
one.
was like, the Cameron Brown Show.
Just do it.
Yeah.
Just do
and
it.
now you're coming out with hats, right?
We are coming out with hats.
I think every person that comes on should have a Cameron Brown hat.
I don't disagree. I think
that'd be awesome.
I also was trying to figure out, I was like, what kind of apparel do we want to start with? And, shirts are great.
You should do cozies for this as well.
Cozy koozies.
Yeah. Cameron Brown cozy koozies.
Yep. I think that's actually ingenious. We're definitely going to be thinking about that here soon. My other one was a coffee mug, which I feel like a coffee mug would just be easy for me to use every single podcast episode or in the morning. But frankly, the hat too, the ones that I generated the other day was funny. I had AI generate them, and I was like, I really want you to generate like the coolest hat for me.
They were cool.
I thought they were pretty cool.
I thought you did them yourself. So.
Well, no, I did not do them myself. AI, thank you, ChatGPT. It's phenomenal. Was super helpful in generating and creating the hats. But then I got a message from my sister, and she was like, you spelled Cameron wrong. And I was like, nope, AI spelled Cameron wrong. It did. I know.
You might need to fix that before
I haven't actually bought those hats yet.
That's pretty on brand, though, if your own name was spelled wrong.
It was
funny.
the Cameron Brown Show. And I was like, that's
gosh.
Perfect. I was like, that's so me.
Funny.
I'm going to misspell shit.
I didn't even notice. Did you post that one?
Yeah. I did.
I didn't even notice that your name was spelled wrong.
It was just the Cameron Brown Show.
Good.
Yeah. So
I love that.
It was on brand. It was on brand. So what's up? So 9 months later, 10 months later, however long it's been, a lot has happened this past year for you in general. What is the latest for you? Really focus on Hyrox.
Really focused on Hyrox.
And you've consistently been crushing it there. And I will also just go back and give a quick little story, because when we first started working out, year and a half ago, 2 years ago now?
I think 2 years.
2 years ago now?
Yeah.
I'm not going to be rude here, but I'm gonna just express
the
progression that we've seen here.
So I know what he's going to talk about. It's my running. So let's hear it.
The running was here. So for those that are watching,
no, it was low.
And see Dom at her current point, it's been 2 years of absolutely crushing it, but progressing to where she is now. So it does take time. To get to where you want to be. And I know you're super hard. Well, you're super hard on yourself, but you are now a much better runner than I am currently. And you always said,
my goal was to beat you and Caleb. When we have another friend, Caleb, and he's a great runner too. But all three of us went to the track together, and I couldn't keep up with any of them. And I said that day, I will beat Cam and Caleb one day.
Caleb's still a really good runner.
I don't think I can beat Caleb. I don't know that you can beat Caleb. But like, I hope I could beat you.
There are,
I don't know if I could.
I think right now you
I think
could
we're pretty
definitely beat
even.
Me. No, I think right now you can definitely beat me. But this is what happens when you don't consistently run or consistently do something. And so consistency has been a big thing for me on the podcast, and everybody I've talked with, it's like, oh well, you're haven't hit it big yet, or you haven't gotten to where you want to be yet. It's going to take some time. And I'm like, yeah, I totally get it. But as long as you're consistent, you're going to get to where you want to be. But you also have to set that goal. Yeah. And you set a very clear goal.
Yeah.
So let's talk about Hyrox goals, because I know that's really what you're focused on right now.
Yep.
What were your goals for Hyrox when you first set out? When you first started Hyrox?
When I first started, I just wanted to be really great at it. I didn't really care about like efficiency, form, or the impact that I made with the community. Yep. I just wanted to win. And the second that I did it, I realized that it was going to take me a long time to win, and I still have not won. So that's the goal, is I want to place and I want to go to Worlds, and that's what I've been working towards. But I think I've learned throughout how much consistency is really important, and how instead of chasing numbers, you should chase doing something because you genuinely love and enjoy it, and you find like little wins while chasing after these competitions. And so I think about like how many other people I've now influenced to do a Hyrox, or have used my platform to help people, encourage them to do a Hyrox. But obviously the goal is still to win. So I have yet to have a win, but I'll come back on the podcast once I win.
It's going to happen.
So hopefully this weekend.
It's going to happen. And I think when you talk about a win though too, I think you have to think about a lot of the small wins. I've now mentioned this like on the past 3 podcasts, I believe. Well, not the Alien podcast, but the other couple I did, where, David Goggins talks often about his, going back in and like being able to pull out past wins, and be able to think about your past wins. And it's really important to go back and think about where you are now, but also go back to your past wins consistently and really think about them, because you've progressed so much, and your current form is so much better than what your old form was, even if that old form is just 6 months ago. Yeah, but totally. It is really cool to see your current form in comparison to when you started.
Yeah. So. I totally agree. I think the little wins is what keeps me going too, because I always think back to that day at the track, and I'm like, what I would do to have Cam and Caleb here right now so I could keep up with them. Yeah. Like that is something that like I think about all the time, is those first couple of months of training. And to me now that I'm like, I prayed for this version of myself. Yep. So I think the little wins matter just as much as that big win.
You prayed and you manifested and you created it. And I think a lot of people, when they hear like manifesting, they think like, well, this is woo-woo, this is BS. But like praying is a form of manifestation. Thinking through it and like connecting yourself with what you want to become that's manifestation in of itself. Yeah. And so I think about it all the time. It's like, it's a lot of people too. Like I struggle with this all the time. It's like, what do I really want to become? Right. Yeah. I think a lot of people are really trying to get over that hump of like, what do I really want to become? But then you really got to go back and think, what I have become is really a lot better than what I was. Yeah. And I appreciate the progression that I've made and to become this current form.
I love that.
So you think about small wins too, because you have not technically won yet in your opinion.
I have not.
And
I've not placed top 3. When we say win, that's what I mean. Okay. I want podium. I want top 3.
That was my question. Was like, what does winning mean to you? Yeah. Because once you place top 3, what do you think happens then?
Well, and then I'm going to go for first. So like the goal is obviously first, and that qualifies you for Worlds.
Cool.
So I just want to go to Worlds. I don't know if I want to go by myself or with doubles. I just want to go to experience that.
Well, considering y'all's last performance, I think it's definitely in the cards.
I think so too.
And coming soon.
Yeah.
So y'all are
6 days.
competing in 6 days.
6 days out.
This will not get released for probably 2 weeks.
Okay.
But
that's okay.
That at least people
you know what? Yeah.
Get some content out.
Hopefully by the time you watch this, we've won already. So we're manifesting it.
Manifesting it right now. They are going to win in 6 days.
6 days.
6 days.
I'm actually competing twice in that day. I don't think I told you that.
Are you doing singles too?
I'm doing 2 doubles.
Are you doing a hybrid, like male, female, and female, female?
I'm doing male and female first. So me and Matthew first. 3 hours later, me and Maya are competing in women's double. So I have 3 hours before I'm doing another
That's
comp.
intense.
And both of them have said they want to win. So I'm under the mindset of 2 wins in one day would be epic. We'll see what happens.
That would be epic.
Would be epic.
Do you think they'll do? I mean, so singles is you've got a couple of singles scheduled. Do you think you will enjoy singles as much? And I know you're going to do it probably regardless. But, but do you think you're going to enjoy singles this much after doing this many?
I don't
doubles?
think so.
Okay.
Because after I did doubles again, I was like, oh my God. Like I felt fine after the race because I was like, I just did half the work out there. But I feel like it's not as rewarding because you knew that you didn't do all of the work. So I feel like I owe it to myself to also win as singles, even if I do as doubles. Otherwise, I'm just never going to feel like I really achieved that thing.
Got it.
I will say, though, I do think my goal is something that is reachable considering the times that we do get as doubles because all the runs are the same. So in my head, if I can just run that same pace, I could get that time by myself. So that's the girl math that's going on in my head.
I mean, you're running the same amount.
Right.
You're just the other stuff
is half.
So
I have to learn how to do that all by myself.
Depends on your partner.
Yeah.
But you also have 2 solid partners. Yeah. And so all that's super helpful. I was also thinking about this too. Matt's a taller guy.
Yeah.
And so I'm sure on like the ski.
Oh yeah. Ski in the row. We shave off a lot of time.
Yeah.
So that's been something that's been like he takes over majority of that. Like the burpees, I'm doing majority of the burpees and like the lunges. But we just focus on strength and weaknesses, kind of what you and I did.
Yep.
So
I love it.
And guys, Cam used to be my Hyrox partner.
Cameron was.
Okay, he was my first Hyrox doubles partner.
And he's now old and things
he
are
was
breaking,
supposed to do the Vegas competition with me, but he had a little injury. So how is that, by the way?
The lower back's better. It's now the shoulder. And so this is like so I think lower back was hurt because I pulled my hamstring towards the end of last year. And then got back into lifting like heavier again. And as I got back into it, it strained my back.
Yeah.
And so it strained my back. And I was like, okay, every single time we'd get halfway through a Hyrox workout, my back would tighten up.
Yeah.
And so it's just like this doesn't make sense for me to push through the pain necessarily.
Yeah.
While typically I'd be like, yeah, let's be stubborn and let's push through the pain. Let's just get it done. But then 2 weeks ago or a week ago, I dove playing softball again and jacked my shoulder up. And so I'm like, I probably shouldn't be, trying to do all these things, but I enjoy the rec league sports, but I also enjoy having an event to train for.
Yeah.
So whether it's Hyrox or a marathon or a half or whatever it is, I want something to train for. Yeah. So I'm still trying to figure that out, but I'm like also trying to get my body to a point where my body can function and do those things.
Your body feels good.
Or my body feels good. Like I'm not personally gonna be an idiot to where like I pull things and hurt myself more than I want my body to be able to heal itself without having to go get surgery.
Yeah.
That's what I'm really trying to avoid. And the shoulder will find out. But right now it's not great. So
okay.
Slowly
so
but
no
surely.
Hyroxes for Cam coming up.
Maybe no Hyroxes in the very near future. But we'll see.
Yeah.
Maybe sometime soon. So on the Let's Dominate front, you're training a lot of Hyrox clients.
Yep.
And what else is going on?
So usual Hyrox clients challenge. So we have like a 45-day challenge going on.
Cool.
And then on top of that, just regular girls that I train one-on-one.
Fun.
And just kicking up YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and potentially developing a new app related to Hyrox.
Okay.
But
great.
More of that will come out in the future.
Fun.
So something to look forward to. But just thinking of ways to grow. But I definitely think it's cool to add Hyrox in especially because I'm now an official performance coach for Hyrox.
Very cool. Congratulations.
Thank you.
As of when?
I think 2 months ago.
Okay.
Yeah. I took the course.
I knew that. That's
took
cool.
the course, and now there's a code that people can use if they sign up for Hyrox is like save money.
Yep.
And I get like all the inside scoops. So it's pretty cool. It's cool to see Let's Dominate in that area because I also love like working with some pretty awesome athletes.
I love it. Do you have apparel still?
I do have apparel.
Okay. Are you still selling it?
Yes and no.
Okay.
It's just on the site, but I don't like promote it a lot.
Got it.
But more apparel is to come.
Cool.
That is definitely in the works in the future.
And the macro calculator and all that is still
up and running.
Good.
Still going.
Good.
Yeah. So lots of just crazy different outlets. And I think once Hyrox is done, go back to majority of like live videos and workouts that people can watch from home and they do it themselves. But I don't know when Hyrox is going to end, to be honest. I think this is a forever thing.
Absolutely.
Until I do whatever I've wanted to do with it. So
Saturday workouts too. Let's go ahead and mention those because I know you've got a lot of those coming up. They will both be at your house and or at the
gym or other areas in Charleston.
So you're planning on doing them in different locations around the town. Okay.
Yep. Yeah.
You mentioned the track as well. I feel like the track would be a good one to do a Hyrox workout as well.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. Every single Saturday. Hyrox workouts in Charleston. Not this Saturday because we're going to be in Texas for the comp, but the weekend after at the Shred Shed.
Getting a sub 1.
Yes, that's the goal for both rounds, which I'm thinking about that. That's going to be almost a half marathon at the end of that day.
Yeah,
and just running.
That's a lot of running. That's a lot.
Just
don't think about it.
I'm not going to think. I'm just going to go into it.
Just go do it. Make sure you drink plenty of water, plenty of electrolytes.
Yeah, Sour Patch watermelon.
What is your go-to electrolyte pack right now? Still Element. There's a lot. What came out? There was recently a bunch of stuff on Element.
I did see that there was another.
Like the ingredients were not as good as they said they were.
Yeah, or they were missing an ingredient or something, but the ingredient is like nothing harmful. They just missed that ingredient, which can be misleading. But I'm still a diehard fan of Element.
I still love Element
and hope they could sponsor your podcast one day.
Element,
where you at?
We're vouching for you right now. So I always think about it too, like with like Celsius and like the lawsuit that Celsius went through a year ago or whatever that was for the ingredients as well. It's like always a slightly misleading ingredient of some kind.
It just makes it sell better, but it's like, why wouldn't you just put it on there to begin with?
Just
like, people are going to still buy your stuff. Even to this day, if you put it on there, they'll still buy your stuff.
And it also gives ammunition.
So why lie?
It gives ammunition to other brands too to use it in marketing. They're like, well, they're lying. It's not real. You know,
right.
That's a little misleading as well. So,
but no, Element's still my go-to. Electrolytes. That's what we're talking about, by the way.
What have been your biggest learning lessons here as of late? This past year. What are some of the bigger learning lessons? And we can go personal on that one if you want to. We don't have to go super personal. We can like just keep it at a business.
You're putting me on the spot there.
This is you've been on an episode of the Cameron Brown Show before, so this is how we do it.
Okay. I feel like something I struggled with was taking my brand from like all nutrition and exercise at home, like regular every day, and then adding Hyrox in.
Okay.
And I felt like that was a big shift in my brand and was definitely worried and scared about that. Okay. And I definitely have had some people be like, you've changed. And that was something that was scary for me, but I also have recognized that change is good and I can't be the same because of everybody else and how they want me to be. And as I get older and I grow, my brand is going to grow. And that was like a hard lesson that I had to learn, that I can't just keep living my life to please everybody else.
Yep.
And I'm in a phase where like Hyrox is a big passion of mine.
Yep.
So a lot of my content has switched over to that, and I had to deal with knowing that it might upset some people, but no matter what I do, I'm going to upset people. So that was another like lesson that I had to learn, is as I grow, my brand's going to grow, and I have to accept it. And I have to accept that not everyone's going to like that. And that's okay, because the content that I was doing before, maybe not everyone liked that either. So it was just a lesson learned that you grow and you might upset some people, but that's okay, because that's a part of life. That was a big lesson that I learned this year.
That's a big lesson.
Yeah.
That's a really big one. And I think the biggest thing, just thinking about that for myself too, is like everything you do, if you do it based off of like what you want to become and what you are becoming, instead of doing it based off of what somebody else wants you to become, then you're staying true to yourself.
Yeah.
And that's what's most important. If that's how you want to create your brand, so be it.
Right. It's my brand.
You also have, I don't know how many hundreds of thousands of people following, but all of those people now million maybe across platforms?
Not a million.
Across platforms?
No.
Okay, well,
not yet.
Let's just say 1 million.
Almost.
Just because it's going to happen. We're manifesting that too. But however many people that is that are following you, you're going to have people that are just following you just to chirp. And you're like, what is the point of your comment about how you don't like my brand? You don't pay the bills.
Right.
You don't have to. You're not creating my life. I'm creating my life for myself.
Yeah.
And I found that in like doing some of these episodes too. Once again, they're not all the best quality. They're not all the greatest production. But I just did 2 episodes ago with a guy who's apparently been abducted by aliens, and I was like,
I saw your story. I was like, I need to listen to this one because that sounds crazy.
Well,
I'm gonna listen to that on the way home.
He's got a video that he stated was, and thinking about releasing it, I was like, this is so ridiculous. I was like, why would I release something like this?
Yeah.
Then I started having a conversation with the guy, and he was very real, and I was like, you know what? This is the kind of stuff I want to produce.
Right.
Real content.
Yeah.
Come to find out later on that in the last podcast, which was on longevity.
Yeah.
YouTube does not like it at
Really?
all. And so I was trying to figure out, I was like, just, what do they do? Are they shadow banning?
Yeah.
Is there like a cover of some kind? So like, let's see if we can even run a YouTube ad. Couldn't even run a YouTube ad because they didn't like the idea of longevity and
interesting.
And
is it that or what you're talking about?
And other medicines being used to treat illnesses. And it was things like methylene blue and other holistic approaches that the mainstream doesn't agree with.
Yeah.
And you can't.
That maybe makes sense that you are getting.
Well, it's not like we're big enough for that to happen in the first place, but it was just,
still,
I got to thinking, I was like, man, they're banning stuff like this.
Yeah.
I was like, well, I don't really care.
Yeah.
That's true to myself.
Right.
So back to your point, I think that's a huge part of
Yeah.
it. But staying true to yourself is also very difficult when you are growing.
Yeah, totally.
And it seems like you're doing a really good job of staying true to yourself.
I'm really trying.
Yeah.
On the topic of that, this has been the first year that I've really developed hate on social media, and like hate comments and like really bad, like, and it's mostly directed towards Hyrox.
Okay.
Like people being like, "Oh my God, you did a Hyrox in 105. You think you know everything."
It's all the CrossFitters. I'm just gonna put it out there.
I don't even know. But
it is all the CrossFitters. They are so salty with Hyrox.
Why? But it's like also just like people are like, "You're dumb. Like you're never gonna win," or just like silly things like, "Why would I ever pay for something that you come out with if you give us all this free information?" It's like also just like things like that where I'm like, one, you following me and being here if I do give you free information is still support towards me.
Yep.
And I don't know, just like people are so negative all the time, or they think that they deserve my time immediately when I can't just bow down to everybody.
Yep.
But there's been some really like hard days that I've had where I've just broke down and I cried because someone just said something that set me off.
Yep.
And it was just so nasty that I'm like, how can you say something nasty like that if you can even say that to my face? Like people being like, I saw you like during the race and like you don't even look the way that you do on camera. And I'm like, what does that even mean? Like, but if you saw me, like, I don't know. It's just dealing with hate on social media is something that is still really hard for me.
Right.
And I always have to say, if this is your career and your life, then you're going to have to deal with that. But that was also another lesson that I'm still learning.
Well,
and it's still hard.
All of those people are simply just jealous of what you've been able to create, and that's all that is. And you just also, and I think the hardest part is you try to probably prepare yourself for that.
Yeah.
And no matter what, I don't think there's any like real preparing yourself for that kind of visibility either.
Yeah.
I mean, you have a very large reach. Yeah. And so when you think about like the reach and the visibility and the additional hate comments, you can't prepare for that.
Yeah.
You just kind of have to go through it as it comes. So I guess what have you been doing as of late to not just address them, but deal with it?
I kind of just like say what I think back, and usually their comment gets deleted when I actually stick up for myself.
So you are responding.
I am responding to them, but it's something along the lines of like, I'm sorry that you feel that way, but you don't have to follow me.
Yeah.
And then they delete their comment because I think what they're expecting is hate back.
Yeah.
But like, I don't want that. I don't want hate back. No matter how you made me feel, I'm not going to make you feel that way.
Yeah.
Or it's just simply like, I just let the comment be there and I just like let it stay there. But then it's like other people are now commenting and be like, shame on you. Why do you have the time to do that?
Yeah.
So my community always backs me up. But it still somehow seems no matter how many people love and support you, the people that hate you is what you are always thinking about, which is hard because it's like a mindset you have to get over. It's like you have 500,000 people that hate you, but then there's 5 that don't. And you're thinking about the 5 that like really hate you and shit on you, and you're like, why are you doing that? Can I swear on this podcast, by the way?
I think I've said shit like 4 times.
Okay.
I don't know how.
Just making sure I can swear.
Mason's about to curse over
Mason's
there,
back there like, what?
Yeah, the interesting part for me too is, once again, I don't know what that visibility looks like, and so to think through like what it would feel like to have, like, let's just say 50 hate comments a day, if not more. I don't know how I would personally handle that.
Yeah.
The easy way to approach that is to say, oh, just ignore it.
Yeah.
But when it's somebody responding to your brand and attacking your brand,
Yeah.
you can't really just ignore everything.
Yeah.
But I always used to tell people when I was doing some political consulting, I would say, don't respond. Just let them look stupid.
Yeah.
Because it's what's really what happens.
Yeah.
The logical people see it and they realize that person's an idiot.
Yeah. I mean, it's true though, because when I'm on someone's page and I see them do something incredible and I see a nasty comment, I'm like, what? Like, why do you have the time of day to do that on someone who's happy about their success?
Yep.
I think that they just look silly. So I agree with that. I need to just let them, right? Let them say whatever.
Let
them judge. Let them. I mean, I
But
always
once again,
think,
easier said than I'm just saying easier said than done.
Yeah.
But let them look silly.
right. Yeah, I have this new motto that if someone is working harder than me, they're not going to spend the time to put someone that's not working as hard as them down. So I just keep saying to myself, like, they're not doing what you're doing, so they're allowed to say whatever they want. And they can, but you cannot get offended by it every time they do that. So
100%.
still learning how to deal with that one,
Still
but
working
we're
through it.
slowly working there.
Cool. What other learning lessons aside from that? It's a big one.
That
But
was a big one.
Is there anything else that's shifted, like, personally? Ooh, somebody's calling me.
Uh-oh. Is that going to stop the podcast?
I don't think so. Let's
Mason says we're still good.
We're still good? Yeah, we're good.
Okay.
Declined. But what other learning lessons or what other shifts or mindset shifts have you experienced this past year that's helped you to get to this point? Because this is a genuine comment, but it's going to sound rough. You're kind of psychotic as it relates to your ability to post content and create and work.
Yeah.
Whereas other people are not. And when I say psychotic, that's not supposed to be a rude.
He's right.
That's not supposed to be a rude comment.
I take that as a compliment.
No,
Thank you.
That's what it
means. I'm hustling.
It is. You're hustling.
Yeah.
But what others will view it as is that person is truly like what? Why? How are they able to do that? Why do they do that? Like, I might post a time or two where we don't fit. Like, I can't do social media. Like, how are they able to do it?
Yeah.
That's what's going through a lot of people's brains. So in posting, let's just call it 25 times a day, however many times a day that you're posting.
I love that.
And responding to the clients and dealing with a relationship and, a home and everything else that y'all have got going on, travel, friends, all the above. I probably shouldn't use the word psychotic. Somebody's gonna be like, Cameron, why'd you call her psychotic? I'm like,
I kind of like it. It's on
but
brand.
it's a compliment.
It's on brand.
But like, how do you deal with and manage all of that and still the next day wake up and do it again and consistently do it without going
crazy
psychotic?
I think it's the outcome that I've seen happen. If it's someone that it's excited, or my Hyrox client being like, I just ran this many miles I've never been able to do before.
Yep.
Or it's the fact that like Richard and I have a great relationship, so it's like easy to maintain that because that's the person that you care about. Or with just your job in general, I think about all the people that are stuck in a job that they don't love and enjoy. And that's my reason every morning is this is my business that I've built. So why wouldn't I pour every day into it and be so grateful for it that it never gets tiring because I'm living someone else's dream doing that. And no matter how much work it is, I always think about when there was no work. And I think about how I begged for work because I wanted there to be work. Yep. And I think that every single day that you are trying and you're putting effort into it, you're growing, and it might not seem like it because you do it every day. But then you look in a year's time and you're like, look how much I've done in this year because I did it consistently every single day. And I think that it's just people want positive like positivity in their life. So going back to like posting, I feel like I have so much positivity to give and I just sit with it myself. So I'm like, I want to give it to the world. And then people like feed off of that and then it makes you feel good back. So then it's like, yeah, I'm going to post 25 times a day because if one person sees it and they're like, I love this video, I'm smiling because of it, then I'm smiling because of it.
You know, I've realized as of late now I've like started to pick up on content creation a little bit. And I used to be so hard on myself, and I would tell you that too. I'd be like, I don't know how to, like, I don't really know how to navigate this and like post these things. Like just whatever you feel like you should post it and create it. And I think people are so hard on themselves too, because like, oh well, social media is good or social media is bad. It's like, live your own life, man.
Right.
Do your thing. I was like, but to that end, you post a piece of content, somebody responds to it, and they're like, hey, man, like, for example, with the pool company.
Yeah.
Somebody reached out today and was like, hey, we've got 2 pools we'd love to bring over to you. I was like, had I not posted anything about the pool company,
you never would have gotten
we
that.
never would have known.
Right.
And they might not see it at that time of day. I was like, but these are the tools we have available to us nowadays.
Yeah.
Use them. They are free.
Exactly.
And you can build anything you want as long as you put your mind to it.
Exactly.
So everybody... Basically, the lesson here is everybody needs a psychotic hustler friend or 15 in their lives, and surround yourself with psychotic hustlers because it's really the builders of this world are what make things interesting and keep us going.
I love that.
Let's clip that real quick.
Speaking of life lessons, I think I have one more that I really realized this year is life is ticking, and that we're all gonna die. Yep. So it's like, why are you out here trying to make every other person happy but yourself? So go do that thing. Let them judge. But like, we are all going to die. Yep. And in their last years are not thinking back, oh, Dom did that thing. Like shame on her. Or like, awesome. You know, no one's thinking about you. Yep. So just go out and live the life that you want. But like, time is ticking. So if I want to go do this thing, I'm going to do this thing. If I want to go there and do this thing, I'm going to do that. If I want to post my content, then I'm going to do that. I don't care if I'm sweaty. I don't care if I have no makeup on. I don't care what I look like. That's the raw me. And there's no hiding that. So we're all going to die. So I don't care if I'm not pleasing you because I'm not here to please you.
100%.
So that's really been my motto is like, you're going to die and I'm going to die. But like, I'm going to die knowing that I did every single thing I wanted. It's
also like what people are craving nowadays is real because everything's fake.
I know.
I was about to use another curse word there, but I'm not going to. But everything is fake, and you're like, dude, this is not real. Like show me something that's I can actually connect with, like an actual person who's going through some of the shit that I'm going through, and experiencing life the way that maybe I've experienced life. And once again, for like connecting to women too, like you definitely connect to women on a different level than a lot of people do because you share a lot of that range of emotion that lots of people are not willing to share.
Yeah.
And I think that's huge.
Yeah, thank you.
People love that. What else is going on?
I don't really know.
Oh
That's pretty much all of it.
That's amazing.
Planning a wedding. That's
exciting.
A new phase of life.
That's big. That's coming up here soon.
Don't ask me how that is going because I couldn't tell you how that's going.
So typically, I feel like the woman.
Let's talk about this. Yeah, you would think that I would know everything, right?
Yeah.
I am not your typical woman because I know nothing. I think that I know everything that's going to happen. Then we get a price back, and I'm like, yeah. Flowers at our wedding? Nah, who needs them? Like, it's pretty crazy, you guys. But we have some ideas, but there's no date. So that date that I gave you that other time, that's not the date of our wedding. But yes, we're still getting married.
Great.
Yes.
This year, next year.
We still think this year.
Okay.
Yeah, still figuring it out.
Great.
The goal is to wait another like month for when Richard's done with tax season. I'm done with Hyrox, and then we're planning our wedding.
Understood.
So
that makes a lot more sense.
Yeah.
He's also super busy right now.
Yeah.
So
yeah, but
a lot going on.
It's a crazy time. That's like stress. That's a different type of stress, and I'm like, this is the one day that we get. What are we gonna do? I couldn't tell you.
You don't want that day to be stressful. You want that day to be like really enjoyable.
And I want to also enjoy planning it. So we'll see.
Cool.
No idea. But that's the only other thing that's new is planning a wedding.
It is funny because whenever I ask, oh, what else is new? And you're like, well, Cameron, do you not see like what I'm doing? It's like,
that's not true.
I'm just saying, like there's so much going on that it's like at the end of the day, we all live very busy lives.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, what else is new? It's like, well, I'm working and I've got this going on.
Yeah.
Just do a surprise birthday party, and plenty of that stuff is happening. So I always follow up with what else is going on. It's like there's not really
that much
else aside from everything we just discussed. Especially when you're like so down, you're like head down in the trenches and you're grinding and getting stuff done.
Yeah.
You're building.
Yeah. I'm in the building phase. As are you.
I think we might always be in the building phase though. It's especially like you level up, you get to the next level. You're like, well, yeah, I'm still building. What am I?
Still
Still
building.
building.
If you ask me in a year, it's going to be the same thing. I'm still
building.
doing that.
So once again, go back to your cookie jar, as David Goggins would say,
Yes.
and constantly remind yourself of all the cool things you've accomplished.
I love that.
So,
that's awesome.
well, I appreciate you hopping back on.
Thank you for having me.
Is there anything else that you'd like to share with the world?
I feel like I want to ask you a question.
Oh, God. Yes.
Let's see. I got to really think about
I haven't
this.
thought about a question.
Can I two?
Yeah,
Can I ask you 2 questions?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Questions you haven't thought about yet, but you're going to think
I'm
about
going
it
to think about one.
shortly.
I guess what has inspired you the most to keep doing your podcast? Like, what inspires you to keep going and keep showing up and doing this consistently every single day as someone who is scared to start posting content, who now posts an episode literally every day?
Every week.
Every week.
Once a week now. Well, so I always talk about like being true and staying true to yourself. It's one of the biggest things. But for me, from a personal perspective and like a mental perspective, truly, did that one just shut off?
Yeah.
Oh, that's so unfortunate. I think it's plugged into the wall. That was a great question, though. We're going to basically have to use the last camera for that content.
We'll use that one.
I'm still in that one, right? So
yeah, just answer it in this
cool. Good thing we have editing tools at the end. So staying true to myself, being consistent in everything I do at the end of the day. So I basically told myself, I was like, I'm going to create 100 episodes by the end of 2025.
Yeah.
And so that was my goal.
But
also the biggest thing for me is like, this is a great way for me to stay connected with people, connect with new individuals, people that are, all around the world, and frankly, the U.S. right now, but I've got a couple people that are, one person I'm still trying to connect with that's on the front lines in Ukraine, another individual that's in Estonia. There are people that I've started to like kind of connect with online that I want to get more information from and learn more from.
Yeah.
But it's been a great way for me to continue building my relationships with people. And so I think for me, I'm such a relationship-based individual that this is my way of staying true to that, but also just staying consistent. And I also truly enjoy this. There are not, work is work and other things, happen, but this is the thing that I enjoy the most. So I'm like,
it also makes you really think, right? When you're sitting down and you're asking people questions, and you're like, oh, I get to learn about this person too.
Makes me really think.
It's a good conversation.
Topics
that I'm really
like
therapy for me. I get to tell you about my life, my dreams, my goals. And you're just like, yeah.
Well, you took the words out of my mouth. This is my therapy.
I love that.
Literally, it should be just like the Cameron's therapy show.
I love it. Yeah, honestly, it should.
But I don't, I've never really been, I'll admit that, I've never really been to therapy. So like, I've never really had that, I guess. Yeah. And so I've always just had to share stories with other people. Yeah. And so this is my way of talking and learning
awesome.
And evolving.
A nice outlet.
Yeah,
right?
It's a great outlet.
Okay, what is something that you want to accomplish this year? We'll end there.
So
a big dream or goal.
I had a desire to buy a company by the time I turned 30.
Okay.
And so.
And how old are you?
29.
Okay. And when's your birthday?
December 19th.
Okay, guys.
And
let's hold them accountable. Although.
Ideally, on Friday, that will be happening.
Exactly.
So that's been a huge goal of mine, buying a company, buying multiple companies. So that's always been a goal of mine, and I realized like that's what I really want to be doing long term.
Yeah.
And so we're working towards that goal, and hopefully that'll be accomplished here very shortly.
That's very exciting.
So I'm looking forward to that one. Also, getting a sponsor for the podcast was another one as well.
I saw that,
I think we might have talked about this the first episode as well, and I was like, I really just want to get a sponsor for the podcast. It's like,
so
doesn't need to be a bunch of money, doesn't need to be a big deal. I was like, but I just want like a good product that I really like.
You should shout them out.
Another shout out to A-Bomb Energy, which I'm not even looking at the right camera, but A-Bomb Energy, this stuff is amazing.
You guys, thank you to the first sponsor of the Cameron Brown.
And he's also
that's so incredible.
And this guy's also, once again, Brandon. He served for the past 15 years, Special Forces individual. Actually, I'll pop up an ad at the very beginning of the episode too.
That's great.
But yeah, really good product, really good person, and a very he launched in January, and they are awesome. Out of stock, in stock constantly.
Let's go.
So they've been doing really, really well, which is exciting to see smaller brands.
I love
grow
that.
quickly.
Yes, totally.
So those are my goals for 2025, and Excited for more to
You
come.
basically already achieved one of them. So now it's just about
And
pumping
maybe
out
going
60 more podcast episodes.
Maybe going and winning a Hyrox in 2026. I don't know.
I've been waiting for my actual partner to come back. So.
Well, she says that, but Matt, she actually appreciates you more. So
that's not true. I appreciate you both. You both bring different things to the table. So.
Matt's just got the height, and
I'm just waiting for you and Matt to team up and be like, "Sorry, Dom." I'm be like, "Oh, well, I guess I taught them everything they need to know. So now they're gonna go out there and do it themselves."
Once I can actually get my body back to a good spot, then we'll absolutely do it.
I think my end goal is to get like all of my friends to do one, so I can say I've influenced everybody to do one. So like Mason, Richard, Nicole, like everyone,
all of them.
Everyone's got to do.
Everyone
has to experience it. So
everyone has to do one. Well, I appreciate you coming on.
Thanks for having me.
We will absolutely do this for episode 90, I guess,
or
100.
100.
Do you want 100 that bad?
Yeah, I want 100.
All right,
I'm here for 100.
We'll give you episode 100.
Keep them going.
We got some time. So
yeah.
You have another year. You might be married by that time.
I probably will be.
That's wild.
That's pretty crazy.
Well,
but
congratulations.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
For your future marriage as well.
Thank you, Cam.
We love Richard. Cheers.
Cheers to that.
All right.
Thanks for having me, the Cameron Brown Show. It's always a pleasure.
Thanks for being on.